Hi, I'm Brent, and I'm in the home studio. For the website, I've been asked to do a little quick walkthrough of the studio, what I'm using, what kind of equipment, what software, and that kind of stuff. So I'm going to do a walkthrough of the layout of the studio, what I'm using, and then I'm going to do a separate video later of kind of the decorations and how I decorated the studio, what kind of ideas that we had when we did that. So I'll make that a separate post. But first of all, I'll kind of walk you through the studio and show you around a little bit and give you some ideas. Here we go. Okay, so this is the studio. Let me try and give you a wide shot here. I'll go around a little bit before I start moving around and showing you the details. You'll notice the Egyptian theme. There's a lot of Egyptian stuff I've been collecting over time, so I always try to make room for that and hang it on the walls, and even did the paint with the glaze on it to make it look like a papyrus look. So this is the corner. I'll show you the pan of the room. This room is the control room. The idea was that since we have that other room over there, that was going to be the live room, and I was going to put a studio window right there in the middle. And so that's why we did the cutout there when we finished the basement. Turns out the studio window is about $2 grand for a decent one. So, and I don't have a need for a live room at this point because I do most of it over here, or all of it over here anyway. So that'll be in the future one day when I have $2 grand laying around with nothing to do with it. So that's the studio on both sides. Let me step over here and give you a view from this side. So this is what it looks like from this side with the album covers hanging on the wall. And some more pictures over there of Egyptian stuff. And then just a scattering of stuff hanging around here. And on the second video, as I said, I'll do the little introduction of the decorations and things. You see through the path through the other room in there. It's kind of a workout room, but I've got it covered with album covers hanging on the wall. And a little weight bench down there. Alright, so let's turn over here and we'll walk around the room and kind of go through what we got. So Yamaha acoustic guitar, that's just an old mainstay acoustic that sounds pretty good for playing. Don't use a lot of recording because there's a better one coming around the corner. Corgo 1W, it's been a good heavy workhorse. Used that for quite some time, had it for years. It's got some great sounds in it, so we use that pretty frequently for some good things. Audio-Technica AT4033. It's inexpensive condenser mic for a studio, but it does a pretty good job. So rather than spending $1,000 on a mic, I spent a few hundred instead, and it does the trick. It sounds pretty good. Then we get to the Ibanez electric acoustic for when we need to plug it in and get electric sounds. And then we get down here to Pod XT Live. What's cool about this is you can actually download presets that people can put together and make it sound like whatever song they're trying to duplicate. So they'll do the exact sound for the song, upload it, and then you can download it. It goes right into your USB and plugs right into your Pod XT, and you got those sounds immediately. Got a little tom-tom down there for some sounds. Then over here on the keyboard, the main MIDI controller, as well as having a lot of good sounds in it. So Elisa's QS8, full keyboard, weighted keys, so no need for anything fancy-dancy. That's some years old, but it does a great job. Got all that running through the Mackie 1202 BLZ mixer, which really just sits there and has everything plugged through it, and plug it into the M-Box here so I can record whatever pieces I want from any instrument when we do it. And M-Box 2, the cool thing about that is it's everything you need to run through Pro Tools LE, was LE, but now running Pro Tools 9. I don't really have a need to run 5 live instruments at a time to record them all. I'll do them one at a time anyway, so M-Box 2 works fine for that because you can run 2 at a time. To monitor, we got the Yamaha HS50s, which are great sounding monitors. They do a good job. They're kind of modeled after the old NS10Ms, which about every studio in the world has had for years. Up on the wall, took a while to find the clips to hang the guitars diagonally. I saw them one time. It took me forever to find them, but I finally found somebody on eBay selling them. And so that's the Ibanez Joe Satriani JS100 electric, which plugs into the Pod XT over here when we want to do live stuff. Then you got the best guitar in the house, the Martin, and that's an acoustic with JS or LL bags, whatever it's called, pickup put in it so we can plug it in. And then I got some speakers behind there, some Infinities to run the keyboard and stuff for live stuff. And then a few decorations. You got the Shure SRH440s for monitoring and doing mixing in my head. You got the Heil PR40, more for podcasting. Then I'm running everything through Pro Tools 9 on iMac with a secondary 24-inch monitor, so really you can do both sides of Pro Tools at the same time. You got the record window and the edit window with the mixer. And so everything happens here. Everything is plugged in through the inbox too whenever I need something, and routing it from the mixer to the inbox. Whenever I need drums, I'm typically using drum machine sounds, and this is the Akai LPD8, which is my drum pad to kick those off with my fingers whenever I need drums. And that's about it. One thing you'll notice is everything over here on the desk is sitting on top of this laminate desk that I put together, which was really inexpensive. Rather than buying a studio desk, here's what I did. Bought particle board and plywood, put together 2 boxes. The boxes are the legs, 19 inches opening. Put the rack rails in the boxes so I can have everything rack mounted in the legs of the desk, which worked out really well. Then I just got glue and laminated them, routed them, and filed them, and then got particle board, built the top, did the same thing with the top, and stuck that on top and made my own desk. So very inexpensive, just took a little bit of time to put together, but it works like a champ. 2 last comments on the room. You'll notice that there wasn't any sound treatment on the walls, no foam around the walls. That's my next step. I'm looking at where I'm going to place that and the right place to have that around the room to deaden it a little bit. The other thing is that when we did the sheetrock in the room, we actually used channels and sound isolation clips, which means basically that the sheetrock is attached to the sound isolation clips and not to the beams that are running across the ceiling and the studs in the walls. They're actually what they call floating, which means that there's a sound barrier between them and the walls and the beams, so the travel doesn't immediately follow through in or out of the room. But with 5 kids, there's just absolutely nothing you can do to keep sound from coming downstairs from up there when they're jumping all over the floor and fighting with each other. But it works, and it's deadened at least somewhat, so it works out well. Anyway, thanks for watching.